asset accounting in our SAP S/4HANA. I will tell the differentiation between the what is the procedure we have been followed in the classic asset accounting, that in SAP ECC, and what are the drastic changes which have been happened in SAP S/4HANA related to the asset accounting. As I've been told you in earlier classes also, there are a lot of changes have been happened in asset accounting. Asset accounting is the core module where now it has been completely integrated with SAP S/4HANA now. Completely integrated with SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so before we start before we start about the technical changes about all the things, first of all, let me understand the basic understanding of asset. Okay, so when I call it as asset, now we are talking about the fixed assets. We are talking about the fixed assets. We are not talking about the current assets. Okay, we are not talking about other assets. So we are talking completely based on the fixed assets. What is a fixed asset? If I take a fixed asset, we have different fixed assets. We have the land, we have the building, we have the plant and machinery. Okay, plant. We have the plant and machinery. And we have the furnitures and fixtures, F and F. F and F is nothing but the furniture and fixtures, and we have the vehicles. And apart from that vehicles, we are going to be working on AUC also, assets under construction. Assets under construction. So we can take, these are going to be called as the fixed assets. These are going to be called as the fixed assets. So except the land, we have the appreciation, not the depreciation, and the remaining everything we are going to be treating them as the depreciation assets. We are calling them as the depreciated assets. Now let me take one example now. Let me take one example of a building. Now I'm taking the building asset. Now I'm taking a building asset. A building is nothing but a fixed asset. A building is nothing but a fixed asset. So if I want to categorize my fixed assets, okay, so when I call it as a building, building is nothing but a fixed asset. So I have the residential buildings, I have the factory buildings, and I have the godown buildings, I have the guest house buildings. Like this, I have different buildings actually. Okay, so when I call building as my fixed assets, are you going to categorize them? Are you going to categorize them? So when I'm selling a car, okay, when I'm selling a RD car, okay, so what type of RD cars do you have? G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G6. These are the different categories we have. Okay, these are the different categories of the cars, okay, where the RD is going to manufacturing. So when I call the building is nothing but a fixed asset. So if I want to categorize, these are the categorization. So in SAP, we call them as a asset classes. We call them as a asset class. We call them as an asset class. Categorizing the fixed assets is nothing but asset class. Very, very important. Categorizing the fixed asset is nothing but an asset class. So when I want to categorize this building, okay, we have the residential buildings.
Mahesh. Hello, Mahesh. This is Priya. I have one question.
Yeah.
So Friday and Saturday, they didn't upload the link till now, Mahesh. Just now I saw the link. I didn't attend the class because of Friday and Saturday because of that. They didn't upload the link at all. Could you please escalate this to the team?
Friday, no. Friday we are not taking the class also. Nobody has attended. No. We are not uploaded the link actually. There was some technical issue. No class on Friday.
Saturday also?
No, nothing. No classes on just 2 days.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Mahesh, for clarifying.
No. There is some technical issue has been done. Okay, we have canceled the class. We have not uploaded any link over there. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm taking the asset class. Now I'm categorizing the building. Okay, residential buildings, and I'm doing the factory buildings. So I'll take only 2 assets now as present. Factory buildings. Like this, okay. Now these are going to be called as categorization. So there are 2 buildings that have been categorized under the building. One is the residential building, another is the factory buildings. Okay. Now, once I categorize the buildings, now when I can go for a depreciation, for example, okay, I have the assets in my company. I want to start the depreciation of my asset. So what is going to be the useful life? The first one is going to be called as, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to be giving it a useful life. Very, very important. So what I will do, I want to calculate the depreciation based on the useful life. So what I'm going to give, okay, I'm going to be giving as a 10 years, 10 years. And the second one is also 10 years. 10 years is nothing but my useful life. Useful life of an asset, very, very important. 10 years is the useful life of an asset. So I want to calculate the depreciation for these two buildings for 10 years. Okay, 10 years. Once the useful life is going to be completed, you're going to do the sale of assets or you're going to do the scrapping. If you don't want to do the sale of asset, okay, if the building is completely not in a use or something like, we can go for the scrapping, or in the mid of the 10 years, if something, or if you want to go for unplanned depreciation, if you want to sell, or if you want to go for unplanned depreciation, that is the different category. I'll explain the concept, each and every concept in a much more detail. So what I'm going to do, I'm taking the useful life. This is the useful life of an asset. I'm going to be taking the useful life of 10 years. Now the third one. So when you want to start the depreciation, from which date you want to start the depreciation? That is, we are going to be calling it as ordinary depreciation start date. Okay, so now very, very important. This is very, very important concept here. Now, when I call it as ordinary depreciation start date, now we need to understand two dates. One is going to be called as the capitalization date. Second one, we call it as acquisition date. One is called as the capitalization date, and the second one is acquisition date. And this I'll take also this one also. And the third one, we call it as the ordinary depreciation start date. Very, very important. These are the dates which are very, 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 very important for us. Now, when I can call it as acquisition date, what is the difference between the capitalization date? Can somebody tell me what is the difference between these three dates? Anybody who has already been worked in asset accounting earlier in SAP ECC might be known all these things. What is the difference between the acquisition date and the capitalization date and the ordinary depreciation start date? Friends, I'm putting a question to all of you. Anybody?
Okay, the acquisition date is the date on which you agreed to buy an asset. Capitalization date is the date on which you actually took possession of the asset. An ordinary depreciation start date is from when you can actually start the depreciation.
Exactly. Very good. Thank you very much, sir. It's absolutely right. Okay, so when I am acquiring, so if I take a residential building, for example, now I am acquiring this asset. What do you mean by acquisition? Acquisition is nothing but where, to whom, okay, from where, what is the date you are purchasing this asset, okay? So that particular date, we are going to be calling it as the acquisition date, acquiring the asset from the vendor on which date. So I am going to be taking the acquisition date as a 01/01/2019. So this is what exactly my acquisition date. So acquisition date is nothing but when the asset has been procured. When the asset has been procured from the vendor. So very, very important. Very, very important. So this is the date where the asset has been procured. Now, what is the capitalization date? As Venkat sir told, okay, so capitalization date is nothing but when the asset has been put to use. When the asset has been put to use, okay. When I acquire the asset on 01/01/2019, I can make it as a capitalization date as a 01/01/2019. On the same date, I started using my asset. So capitalization date is nothing but the date where the asset has been put to use. Here, the acquisition date and the capitalization date can be different, and the acquisition date and the capitalization date can be the same. So I can take the same date. I can take the same date. So asset has started putting use on the same date when the asset has been acquired. Very, very important. And ordinary depreciation start date is the date. Ordinary depreciation start date is the date when you want to start the calculating the depreciation of the particular asset. So from which date you want to start the depreciation? This is very, very important actually. So from which date you want to start the depreciation of an asset? This is very, 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 very important. So for example, I'll tell you one example now. I have acquired an asset. I have purchased a building. Very, very important. I purchased a building on 01/01/2019. So due to some, hello. So due to hello, I'm getting some resound. Please, somebody, okay, you are not talking. Please, could you mute your call? Okay, thank you. So when I purchased the building from the vendor on 01/01/2019, so due to some, okay, so I want to make some furnishing in my house, so I don't want to get capitalized as on today. So I want to have some layouts, okay, something like I want to modify something according to my requirements. So I had done some modifications. So the modifications, everything, the furnishing and gardening, whatever maybe. Okay, so I had taken up to 1 month. So what I will do, I'm going to do my housewarming on February 1st or something like that. So the calculation date is going to be on 01/02/2019. So I want to start calculating the depreciation not from on the acquisition date. I would like to start the calculation date on 01/02/2019. Means you want to calculate the depreciation of an asset from 01/02/2019. So from that date, your system is going to calculate the depreciation, not from 01/01/2019. So when I take it as an ordinary depreciation start date, what is the date? So while you're creating the asset master record, you will give one date over there. So that date is called as ordinary. The system is going to consider that date as the start of your depreciation. Whether you can take 01/01/2019 or you can take 01/02/2019, depends upon the requirement. It depends upon your requirement when you want to start calculating the depreciation of that asset. So this date is called as ordinary depreciation start date. So normally 99% will take the calculation date as the ordinary depreciation start date, not the acquisition date. Normally we'll take the calculation date as a 01/01/2019. We'll take as the ordinary depreciation start date. So these are the three different dates we need to understand. One is the calculation date, acquisition date, and the third one is ordinary depreciation start date. This ordinary depreciation start date will be given in the asset master record. While you create an asset master record with the reference of the asset class, so you will give the date from which date you want to calculate the depreciation. Now, next one. Yes, you're telling your life of your asset is 10 years and your ordinary depreciation start date is going to be 01/01/2019 till 01/01/2028 till 28. Okay, you want to go for the depreciation. Now, third one, depreciation key. No, last one, depreciation key. Okay, I understand that, okay, you are given the basic requirement, but either you want to go for straight line depreciation or you want to go for diminishing method. Straight line depreciation or there will be two methods. There will be different methods are there. So the basic methods are SLM and W, written down value method, WDV. There are two methods are there. One is going to be called as the straight line method, where every year the depreciation value will remain as the same, where there is no diminishing. Whereas in WDV, we are going to be calculate the depreciation on the diminishing wise. Okay, I'll explain you now. Okay, so now here you can assign the depreciation key, whether you want to go with a straight line or whether you want to go for a WDV. Okay, there are some parameters you have to maintain to distinguish between the SLV and SLM and the WDV. So based on the parameter, the system will consider whether you are going for the straight line depreciation or you're going for a WDV method. So I just want to give an example. Okay, this is okay. I want to give an example where we are going to be doing the calculation based on the SLM. That is going to be called as a straight line method. In this straight line method also we can get the net book value. What is the current net book value of an asset? Now I would like to calculate the asset now. Now I want to calculate the depreciation of an asset. Now I'm taking the years, very, very important year. Okay, year is nothing but 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028. Okay, 10 years. Okay, starting the calculation of your depreciation. Now, here. Okay, now here I'm going to be giving the APC value. APC value. What do you mean by APC value? Very, very important here. What do you mean by APC value? APC value is nothing but acquisition and the production cost. Acquisition and the production cost. What do you mean by acquisition? Acquisition is nothing but the way we are acquiring an asset and what is the production cost of that particular asset. Okay, there are two things. One, you can acquire the asset directly from the FI. You are using the F-90 is the transaction code. F-90 is called as acquisition. Directly, you can acquire the asset directly from the vendor. This is direct from the acquisition. And you can also acquire the asset through the purchase orders. You can go with MM process also, purchase orders. Okay, purchase orders. For example, if I want to purchase a machine or something like, I want to purchase the machinery equipment for the manufacturing. Okay, so we are going to raise the purchase order through the vendor. So I'm creating a material master record for the particular asset, and I'm procuring that particular asset through the MM process, like purchase order, goods receipt, invoice receipt. So I'm going to acquire that asset. And the second, you can directly acquire an asset through F-90. F-90 is a transaction code where I'm going to be using for the acquisition of an asset. Very, very important. So what is the value of an asset now? Okay, now you are doing the calculating the depreciation for the residential building. So you are acquiring an asset. So what is the value? The value of asset is 1 lakh USD dollars, for example. So this is the acquisition value. 1 lakh USD dollars is nothing but my value of an asset. Very, very important. So I'm taking the value of asset is 1 lakh. Okay. Now this is the value of asset. This week in SAP terminology, we call it as acquisition and the production cost. We call it as a acquisition and the production cost. It will be hitting to a separate GL account. So whenever I'm acquiring an asset, so what is the accounting entry? The accounting entry will look like this. Okay, so here, very, 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 very important. Your residential buildings. Your residential buildings will become the account, will become the debit, and your vendor account, and your vendor account will become the credit. Vendor account will become the credit. So this is the acquisition. Now what is the value? The value of acquisition value is, okay, 10 lakhs. Okay, that is 1 lakh. The acquisition value is going to be the 1 lakh. Now this is the acquisition accounting entry. This is the acquisition accounting entry. Your residential buildings is nothing but a GL account where it is called as a reconciliation account. It is called as a reconciliation. Why? Because it has to be integrated with the value has to be flow from asset accounting to the controlling, to the general ledger. So all these are going to be called as a recon accounts. Building, land and purchase, plant and machinery, furniture and fixtures, vehicles, assets under construction. These all are going to be called as a reconciliation account. Why should I create the reconciliation? Because whatever the transactions you're making in asset accounting, the value has to be flowed to your general ledger accounting. So we are creating it as a reconciliation account. All the assets are going to be treated as a reconciliation account. Now, this is the accounting entry. Now this is called as your acquisition and the production cost. So I'm going to begin. Your APC value in 2019 is, okay, you are acquired the asset with 1 lakh. This is going to be called as acquisition cost. Now next one. Okay, I got the acquisition value in 2019. Okay, now what is the next one? Okay, now I am going to be taking the next one that is going to be called as a depreciation value. Depreciation value, next one is going to be called as a net book value. Net book value. So how should the, now I want to calculate the depreciation value and the net book value now. The first year, let us assume that now I'm putting a question to all of you. When I can start my depreciation of an asset now, based on the example which have been given on the board. When I can start the depreciation, how long I should wait to calculate the depreciation of an asset?
End of the month. Every month.
Every month I can do the depreciation, but how long? Because see, if I want to go for a depreciating on an asset as a 10% yearly, okay, now I'm going to be giving, okay, I just forgotten to give you one thing also. So here, if I want to add, insert, I'm going to be calling the percentage. I'm giving the percentage, 10% yearly, 10% yearly. This is the percentage I'm going to be calling. Yearly percentage, yearly 10% on 1 lakh. yearly 10% on the 1 lakh. So the depreciation amount will be 10,000 yearly. The depreciation amount will be the 10,000 yearly. So now how I'm going to be calculating, how I should keep this formula. Now, how should I keep this formula in my SAP now? Now, here, if I go here, if I go here, first year, if I go for the first year, 1 lakh into 10,000, 10% divided by 100. 1 lakh into first year, 1 lakh into 10 divided by 100. So what is the first year value which I'm going to be getting? 10,000. 10,000. 10,000 is the first year acquisition value. That is the depreciation value. So the depreciation value I'm putting here, 10,000. First year. It is going to be the first year. Year means it contains about the 12 periods. Year means it contains about the 12 periods. January to December. This is the complete acquisition value. January to December. Now, when I take the 10,000 here, when I take the 10,000 back, this is the 10,000 is the depreciation value. Now, when you're calling it as for complete 12 periods, okay, when you're calling it for complete 12 periods, so when you're calling it for complete 12 periods, these are going to be from Jan to December. This is the Jan to December. And the depreciation you are calculated for complete yearly. You're calculated for complete yearly. So every month I need to calculate the depreciation. Every month I need to calculate the depreciation. So this 10,000 divided by 12. 10,000 divided by 12. Approximately it will come about from 8.866 point something 6 it will come. So this is what exactly the periodic value. This is something what we are going to be calling it as a periodic depreciation. See here. So every period, the calculation of the depreciation is going to be $866.6. So the annual year, this is going to be the 1,000. So now here, this is the depreciation value for this particular year for 2019 is going to be the 10,000. 10,000. And what is the net book value? Now net book value. Net book value is nothing but 1 lakh minus 10,000 is equal to 90. 90,000 is the net book value. 90,000 is going to be the net book value. Next one, the same, because I'm using the straight line depreciation every year, this will remain same. Every year, this will remain same. And the net book value, we are going to be seeing the depreciation here. So 8,000, 80,000, 70,000, 60,000, 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, and here, see here, very, very important here in the 2027, in the 9th year, now complete one, okay, now complete 1,000. Now the remaining amount is 10,000. Now here the value will become the 0, means complete 10 years. Now here you can see the net book value has become the 0. Until the net book value is going to be the 0, the depreciation we have given is that for 10 years. Very, very important, because I'm calculating only for the 10 years, not for the 12 years or 13 years, because your useful life can be 12 years or 13 years or 14, 15, 20 years, approximately you can take anything. But here in this current example, what I'm going to do, I'm taking only 10 years. 10 years. So 2019 to till 2028. So automatically my depreciation is going to be calculating for till 10 years for till 2028. And now I'm going to stop. Why? Because the net book value has been reached to 0. The net book value has been reached to the 0. Now the value has become 0. Now here, what I'm going to do now, this is the year where I have to go for the sale of assets. That is what exactly you're selling your asset, or you want to go for the scrap or whatever maybe. Okay, so this is how the depreciation is going to be calculating in our SAP, or in the normal also we can take. So these are the 4 parameters we need to take into consideration for any kind of reporting, here. So this is how, now if I want to take the periodically every month, so whatever the depreciation you are calculating every year, so if I divide it for the 10,000 divided by 12 months, it is going to be the 860. This is going to be called as a periodic depreciation. So every month end, we will calculate the depreciation and we will post the depreciation in our books of accounts. So this is the periodical depreciation, and this is going to be the complete year depreciation value. So this is how we are going to be calculating the depreciation in our asset accounting. So this is what exactly we call it as a general formalization of an asset, where it is getting integrated with your general ledger. So here, any doubts here, please? Anybody has any doubts in this particular example?
So, Mahesh, you mentioned, right? So is this process, right, when we create assets? So how does this process run? Is do we need to do any manual process or anything we need to do? Or when we set up, right, asset, we set up our acquisition, we set up our depreciation date.
So
and
what? Yes, it is not a manual process.
This
For
the
example,
whole process, right? It's continued process in the system, or how are we going to depreciate every?
no. The depreciation has to be calculated manually and it has to be posted. This is every month the end user has to do this activity. It is not a continuous. There is no batch jobs we are going to be running. So this is a continuous process. Actually, this is a continuous process in the sense that every month end, the end user has to be post the depreciation in our books of accounts.
So we have to post manually.
Exactly. So there is a transaction code called as AFAB. AFAB is the transaction code. Okay. AFAB is the transaction code where we are using this transaction code for calculating the depreciation. For example, if you see here.
So Mahesh, the month end, right? You run the
month end.
depreciation. You run the depreciation run, and that calculates everything, right?
Exactly. Every month end, sir. Every month end we are calculating the depreciation. Every month end it has to be calculated. Now, in our SAP, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The transaction is part of the depreciation run, isn't it?
Exactly. AFAB is the transaction. This is the AFAB is the transaction. So this is the transaction code. Okay. Now the complete procedure has been changed in our SAP S4, and I'll tell the differentiation between the old one in the ECC and SAP. This is what exactly we are going to be. Now we are going to see a new column which is going to be calling it as a new field called as the accounting principle has been come down over here. So we can calculate based on the accounting principle. I'll tell us. So this is the transaction code where I'm going to be using to calculate the depreciation and the posting of a depreciation of an asset. We'll see complete example. And to run this, we had to do some further configurations in the back end. We have to run some further configurations in the back end. So what are those configurations we are going to see, because it is a very, 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 very important topic. So it will take about more than 5 to 6 sessions. So I want everybody to be concentrated for this. Why? Because if one class, if somebody has been missed out, to understand the next class, it will become very, 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 very difficult, I'm telling. Okay. So 1 second, sir. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just stopping this. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I'll reconnect. 1 second. Venkat, you're looking so handsome, Venkat.
That was a mistake.
Huh?
Did it go or it's still there?
One second, I'm just connecting everything. 1 second. There is some problem. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we are
Yeah.
seeing SAP PDF. Yeah.
So yeah, very, 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 very important. So first, okay, so there is no hurry to go into that. Okay, so I'll go very, very, very depth. Okay, so I want just you to understand the concept very beautifully. Now, this is the simplification list. I hope everybody has downloaded the simplification list. I already uploaded in the blog. So this is the same simplification list which I'm using right now. Now, first of all, let me understand the concept here between the SAP ECC with SAP S4HANA. So what is the major here? I'll tell the what is the new asset accounting and what is the classic asset accounting. The differentiation between the new asset accounting and the classic asset accounting, I will tell you. If anybody, if any company or something like, if any client wants to go for converting the system from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA, the minimum requirement is that we need to make sure that the system is on SAP ERP with EC. Please, somebody, I just want to be muted, please. Please, if you don't mind, somebody. Yeah. So if I see that the minimum requirement where I need to be get concentrated, your system should be on SAP ECC with ERP with 6.4 with the latest enhancement package with EHP 7. When I see the EHP 7, the new asset accounting is activated. Why? Because classic asset accounting will not be very, very important. So if any client is on SAP ECC, but they are below the EHP 5, because new asset accounting has been introduced from EHP 5 package. EHP 5 is the enhancement package where new asset accounting has been activated. So if you see that the old asset accounting, if the client is on still on old asset accounting with the latest, with the below the enhancement package 5, so we need to upgrade it to the EHP 7 with the latest enhancement package, so that the new asset accounting is going to be activated. Until or unless if the new asset accounting is not activated, until or unless if your system is not with EHP 7, so I cannot do the converting from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. So the minimum requirement, even though you are on SAP ECC system with ECC 6.1 with latest enhancement package 7, then I can convert your system. If it is below EHP 5, I cannot do the converting of the system to SAP S/4HANA. Why? Because the new asset accounting is the mandatory. New asset accounting is the mandatory to do the system conversion from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. So what I will do, first, I need to make sure that I have the system with SAP ECC with 6.0 with EHP 7. Why? Because with the new asset accounting, which is very, 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 very important for me. If you are in old asset accounting, let us assume that, hey, Mahesh, still I'm working with the enhancement package 1, 2, 3 because I not activated the new asset accounting. So I am not a customer, I'm not a client to convert my system. No, you can convert your system, but there is a one procedure you need to follow before that. You have to upgrade your system to EHP 5 or latest enhancement package 7. Then you can go for the system conversion. Until or unless if the system is not with the new asset accounting, I cannot do the system conversion. Very, 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 very important. So that is the most important thing. So if I go into the SAP, if I go into the system, if I go into the status, okay, if we click on the details, if we click on the details, okay, here you can see here, okay, SAP core, okay, SAP core now we are running, okay, actually, okay, here it will be the release, okay, whatever the service pack levels we are going to be seeing. So here you're going to see here the what is the latest one we are going to be using. Okay, so here we can see whether you are going to be using the enhancement package 6 or 7 or 8 here in the release, but this is already converted system. This is already converted system. So here you can see the component with EHP 7 or EHP 8, what component you are going to be using here. So after you come to an understanding, okay, then okay, so then based on the system requirement, so it has to be under the EHP 7. Very well. This is the first requirement. Classic asset accounting will not work. Only the new asset accounting will be worked in SAP S/4HANA. If any customer is on with classic asset accounting, then you have to upgrade the system to the latest enhancement package and complete all the reconciliation process. And then you have to go for the system conversion. If there is any balance, if there is any discrepancy, or if there is any kind of disturbances there between the general ledger accounting and the asset accounting balances, first you need to sort out those differences, make sure that your asset balance is equal to your general ledger balance, and then you have to go for the system conversion. I'll explain all those things now. Okay, the first one, okay, make sure that you are on EHP 7 with the new asset accounting, with the new asset accounting. There are two types of data there. there are two types of data is there. One is going to be calling, one we can call it as the actual data, and the second one we are going to be calling it as a planned data. The second one we call it as a planned data. Okay, very, 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 very important. One is the actual data, another one is the planned data. Now, if I go into the system, when I see here, now this is the January month. We already calculated the depreciation. We already calculated the depreciation. Now the January month, the depreciation has been calculated. So if I see the January month, it will be in the green color. It will be under the green color. Means this is the actuals. And this is what actual depreciation amount, which has got posted. Actual depreciation amount which has got posted. That's because now you are in the month of February. This is the month of February, but you already calculated the depreciation for the month of January. This is the actual. Now, when I see the remaining values, now when I see the remaining for the remaining 11 periods, it will be under the yellow color. Okay, it will be under the yellow color. So these values are going to be called as the planned depreciation value. Very, very important. Planned. Planned depreciation amount. All these are going to be called as the planned. Only actual see the month is January. Okay, now if I take the planned, these all are going to be called as the planned. Yeah, planned. Earlier, before you convert your system to SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA, the actual depreciation amount is going to be stored in one table, and the planned depreciation values are going to be stored in another table. The planned depreciation values are going to be stored in another table. So this is the architect. Earlier, this is the architect if I see here. Okay, very, very important. Now, if I come to the actuals, the actual values from the table, from which table? ANEP, ANEA, ANLP, and ANLC. These are the earlier tables. Now, these tables have been moved as a compatibility view table in SAP S/4HANA. Earlier, these tables are active tables. Earlier, these tables are active tables in our SAP ECC. Now, these tables are called as compatibility view table. I know, I think we have been understood what is the meaning of compatibility view tables earlier. In the introduction, we have discussed all those things. So earlier, the actual values are going to be stored in these particular 4 tables, which are going to be stored. Now, what we are going to do, we are bringing the AC DOCA table as a new enhancement table. We are bringing this AC DOCA table. So all the actuals are going to be stored in this particular table, AC DOCA table. Now we are bringing to the AC DOCA table. Now, when I call it as a planned data, okay, the values from the table ANEK are stored. ANEK is the header table. These are going to be called as the line item tables. ANLP, ANEA, ANLP, and ANLC. These are going to be called as the line item level tables. And we have header table earlier, like for asset accounting, the header table is ANEK. For general ledger accounting, it is BKPF. For controlling COBK. Okay, like this, we have the header tables for each and every module wise. Now, in asset accounting also, we have the header table. The header table is called as ANEK. Now, there is no ANEK table. Now, we have only one header table for the AC DOCA table, which is called as a BKPF. Now, no more we are using the ANEK as a header table. Why? Because we have only one universal general entry table called as the AC DOCA table. And for that universal general entry table, we have only one header table, which is called as a BKPF. Now, no more ANEK table we are going to be using. Very, very important here. Next one. Postings are still made to the table called as a BSEC. Yes, this point we have stressed more when you go and recap our classes on the universal general entry. When we discussed about the BSEC level tables, what are all the currencies we are going to be using in the BSEC table? 3 currencies. FI currencies are going to be 3. SE DOCA table 2 plus 10. 2 plus, yeah, so 2 plus 8, totally 10 currencies. And apart from the AC DOCA, we have the BSEC table also. BSEC table also. BSEC table, how many currencies we are going to be using? 3 currencies. So when I come to the currencies here, now I'll go to the currencies. Very, very important. See here. Just recap. When I go to the currencies in my universal general entry table, this is the table we discussed. This is the table we discussed in the last class. If you still remember, all of you, my dear friends. See here, BSEC and fixed asset accounting. Very, very important. basic and fixed asset accounting. How many currencies we are going to be using? 3 currencies, 10, 30 and 40. So apart from the ECDOCA table, the postings are also going to be made to the BSEC table. Why? Because BSEC table is still, it is active in our SAP S/4HANA. So totally how many currencies? Account, asset accounting and the BSEC table will use 3 currencies are going to be used. 3 currencies, 10, 30 and 40. So this is the very, very important. So BSEC table is still, it is active. So postings are still made to the BSEC level table. You can continue to use your existing reports and the developments. My dear friends, you have many developments you have been done. You have done many developments you have been done earlier for the asset accounting reporting. You have customized your reports. You have different transaction codes. No need to worry about those reports. Okay, you can use those existing reports because I told that we are going to be running, custom code migration. We are going to run a custom code tool. This custom code, what it will do, it will identify all the Z tables and the Z reports and the Z developments, and it will check the compatibility and make sure that these reports are going to be available in SAP S/4HANA. I told that. So whatever the reports you have earlier, whatever the developments, your Z developments you have done in asset accounting according to your business requirements, yes, 100%, those are going to be using as it is. There is no change in the process. So that is what, okay, with the help of compatibility view. Why? Because you have written a logic. Hey, Mahesh, you are telling that these tables are no more available. These tables have been moved as a compatibility view tables. Yes, but I designed I have designed one report in my asset accounting. Okay, I have designed asset history or asset balance report. This is the new report. This is the Z report, asset balance report. Okay, this is the Z. Okay, this is what is the transaction code? ZASSBAL. This is the transaction code actually. Now, according to my requirement, this report has been customized. So for this report, what I have been used? Okay, ANEP. Okay, ANEK, ANLC, like this. Okay, whatever the tables you are showing here, whatever the tables I am going to be showing here. So this report has been developed based on these particular tables only. Okay, because we don't have AC DOCA table earlier. Now you are telling that these tables are no more available. These tables have been moved as a compatibility view. I told it has been available, means it is in the form of compatibility view. You can still, I told one example also, that is non-disruptiveness process. When you are executing the report, what it will do, it will select the data, it will redirect, and it will read the data from your AC DOCA table. In the non-disruptiveness process, we have explained very beautifully the diagram also. So these compatibility view tables are available in our SAP S/4HANA. So whatever the Z developments or Z programs with you are having, so they are going to be achieved with the help of compatibility view tables. So you can still work on with existing reports. Why? Because I am not completely removed these tables. The data is available, but the data is available in the compatible. Only you can read the tables. You can only read the tables. You cannot modify, you cannot change, you cannot do any kind of deletion. Yes, the tables are going to read and you can get the reports as the new developments or enhancements. So there is no change in the process because of the compatibility view. Now, when you come to the statistical or the planned data, earlier in our SAP ECC, statistical means we are using for the tax reporting purpose. Statistical only for the internal reporting purpose. Statistical data. There are some planned data will be this. So when I call it for the tax reporting purpose, so whenever you are creating any depreciation, a new depreciation area is created for the tax reporting purpose, for the internal reporting purpose. So those data we are going to be calling it as the statistical values. We are going to be calling it as a static. Earlier, the statistical values are going to be taken the table called as ANEP, ANA, ANLC, and STAVE. Okay. Now in our SAP S/4HANA, we have designed a new table called as a FAT_doc_IT. This is the new table for all the statistical data. We are going to be designing a new table. Why? Because I cannot bring down to the ECDOCA table. Why? Because ECDOCA table is for the actual values, not for the planned and not for the statistical. The ECDOCA table itself is the actual document accounting. Okay, accounting document actuals only, not the planned, not the commitment, not the target, not the statistical. Only actuals are going to be stored. But where I can store the statistical value for the tax reason purpose, there are different there is a separate depreciation area I have created only for the tax reporting purpose. If you're not telling A DOCA, AC DOCA, is there any other table we are going to be designing? Yes, that new table we are going to be calling it as the FAT_DOC_IT. So if I take this table, let's see whether this table is activated. See, FAT_DOC_I. There is no other way. We have to remember all those things, my dear friends. I'm telling asset accounting is the core. Whenever you're writing any certification, maximum 30 to 40% of the questions are coming from the asset accounting. Why? Because the complete data structure, the technical upgrades have been done in asset accounting rather than other modules. I'm telling. Focus more on asset accounting so that you will get maximum questions from the asset accounting so that you can answer each and every question so that you will be in the 90% or 95% of the scoring of the subject, I'm telling. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah, Mahesh, because you brought up this, can you please let me ask one question regarding this?
yeah.
Is there any question bank for SAP certification? Is there any website for that?
No, madam. No, not like that actually. So there is no question bank about giving all the questions. So there will be some the false website being created that they are going to sell the questions like okay, they're going to sell the SAP questions which is going to be available in our website. You have to pay this much of amount. So if you pay this amount, we will be giving a downloading access. So you can download those questions and you can apply for the examination so that you can get it 60 to 70% or 90%, whatever may be. But those are completely false statement. I cannot accept that for that. SAP never releases any kind of questionnaire bank in SAP websites.
Okay, thank you, Mahesh. Thanks for the update.
But if you want, I will give some questions. Those will be damn sure that questions are going to be appear in SAP examination.
Thank you so much, Mahesh. Can you please upload it whenever possible?
See, whatever I say, see, I'll upload it. Okay, already it has been uploaded. Okay, so I can also show the path also. But in each and every class, I'm telling this is a certification question.
Yes,
it is a 100% certification question.
Okay.
You can verify.
Got it.
After you write the certification, after you complete the certification, if you verify my videos, whichever the line I told that this is a certification question, 100% that question might have been appeared in your exam. I'm telling 100%. I'm telling.
Okay, Mahesh, thank you.
Okay, now. See, this is the database table. I'm using a new table called as for the statistical data for all the tax reporting. This table going to be used now from today onwards. Now, if I go into the details of the tables, if I click on the displays, this is the new table. You can see here. This is the statistical line item in asset accounting. So this is the new table. You can see here all the statistical references tables fields are going to be stored in this particular table. Okay, you can see here. Okay, not the actual one. This is going to be called a statistical table. So like this, the statistical values are going to be stored in this particular table. And what happened to the planned values? My dear friend, you are telling this is the planned values. Planned values are nothing but I shown one example. If I go back to here, these are going to be called as planned values from the February to till the month of December. February to till the month of December, if you see, these all are going to be called as the planned values because I cannot store the planned values in the actual table, in the DOCA table. Okay, so SAP, what they have done, they have designed a new table for only for the planned values. This is going to be called as the planned values. FAT_plan_values. This is the new table only for the planned accounting. This is for the planned depreciation. So if I go into the this is completely for the planned depreciation for the revaluations. Okay, very, very important. So if I go and see, there are new tables. There are 3 new tables have been brought on here. One is going to be already we know that this is one is the AC DOCA table, and the second one for the statistical posting we are going to be using FAT_DOC_IT, and for the planned values we are going to be using called as plan_values_. This is the value. This is for the planned values. So there are 3 different tables from today onwards here. And one more thing, we don't have the header table A and EK. Now we have only one header table called as a BKPF only. So this is the table level technical changes which have been brought down in our asset accounting. Very, 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 very important. So actual, planned and statistical data. So these are the new 3 tables which have been introduced. Now these are the compatibility view table. Now if I go into the compatibility, as I told you that now these tables are no more available. Earlier we had these tables, but these tables are no more available in SAP S4HANA. Now these 4 tables, these 4 to 5 tables have been moved as a compatibility view. Yes, the data will be available. You can retrieve the data. You can retrieve the data from these tables, but in a form of compatibility view, not in a form of actual tables. So very, 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 very important here. However, to able to continue to use the reports of asset accounting and your own development selections from these tables are automatically diverted to the corresponding compatibility. Just now we discussed, yes, we can retrieve the data, whatever the old data we want to retrieve, whatever the old reports or the Z reports we have enhanced. Yes, I can get the data by using the compatibility view. This compatibility view makes sure that makes that the information from the new data stored available in the format of the original table. If it should be necessary to read the content from the original tables. No, not from the compatibility view. I want to read the data from the original table. Then very, 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 very important. You can do that. You can also retrieve the data from the original table. So now the original table is nothing but you have to go with _ORI. _ORI. Why? Because there will be no technical content will be available. If I go and see one table, see here. There will be no open structures for this. If I go and see here. Okay, it's a completely transparent table. You can see here. It's a completely transparent table now. Okay, it's a completely transparent table. Now what the SAP is telling here, if you want to read the data from the original table of the content, now what you have to do, yes, I will also give the original table, but you have to use the table as like this. FAA_ANEA is the table. It's a compatibility. You can read the data by putting _ORI. ORI is nothing but original. You can see here. This ORI is nothing but accessing to the original table. Accessing to the compatibility view table is this is the accessing to the compatibility view table. But in some cases, if the system is not able to read the data from the compatibility view table, then the SAP is also going to give. You can also directly access to the original table by _ORI. This is very, 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 very important. I'm telling you. This is the certification question to all of you. I'm telling you. This is the certificate. This is the original table before. This is the compatibility view table. And this is the original table. You can read it _ORI. Very, very important. These are the 3. These tables are listed are going to be called as data structure tables in our SAP Asset Accounting. So if I copy this table, example, if I copy any of this table, okay, this is the original table. You can see the data source. This is the original table. If I double click on it, see here. If I go into the programming language, these are the field names. These are the field names. So what is the field? What is the table? Original table. See here. ANEA. ANEA is the table. Now the DDL source is going to be the one. Now if I double click on it. So this is the language. Okay, this is the data structure behind that. Okay, so see here. Okay, this is the SQL view table that is going to be called as ORI. This is okay. The table name CDS view. Okay, we are going to be using. So what it is now? So it is reading the data. So the data definition view, this particular table is going to select from which table? See here, from the table called as ANEA. See that it's very, very important. This is very, very important to all of you. You have to understand this language. Even though we are not designing the program, but this is very, very important. As a functional concern, little bit of technical knowledge is also very, very important for us. So if I tell it as the original table, so it has to read the data from where? It has to go and read the data from this particular ANEA. Why? Because here, this is the original table, which I'm going to be _ORI. So it is going to select which table? ANEA. This ANEA is the table which is going to read the data from the table. Now in the same way, if I go back, this is the source code. We can call it as a source code. We are going to be calling it as a source code. If I just scroll down, see here, this is the ANEA table. See here, it is going to read the table from the ANEA. If I click on the joint condition table, if I click on the table joint conditions, See here, ANE is the table. So if you want to read the content of the original table, now we have to use this particular table, underscore ORI, FAV underscore ANA underscore ORI. This is going to read the table from the ANA. Next one, see here.
So Mahesh,
Yes, sir.
so here, see, why would you again want to go and read the original table? Because original table is, the data is not going to be, let's say after the month end or the period end, right? You have upgraded to yourself to S4 HANA. The original table will not be returned to the next depreciation run data or anything, planned data or actuals is not going to be returned to ANEA or ANLP and all these, right? It's going to be returned to BKPF and ACDOCA or that FAAT, doc, IT or plan values, right? Those tables it will be returned. So the next posting, next depreciation run data will not be in the original tables anymore, right?
The data will be available, sir. That is what I'm telling. The data will be available in the compatibility view tables and in the original table also. That is what I'm telling here. So if you want to retrieve
compatibility view table, it may be available because that view will be based on
exactly
your ACDOCA table or FAAT doc IT table or FAAT plan values table. Those, the views will be on those tables, right? The original table will be replaced by those tables, right?
no, but this is not the original table, sir. This is not the original table I'm taking here. See here, this is if you want to retrieve the data, see what is the meaning here. This is the compatibility view table, sir. See, I'll explain you. This is the compatibility view. Okay, now I'll copy the compatibility view. 1 second. Good question, sir. I am going to be taking the compatible. This is the compatibility view table. I'm clicking on display. If I double click on the DDL source, here you can see here the select data is from this particular table, see here. Only these fields. So if I just come down, okay, yeah. If I just come down, okay, define the view table. This is the compatibility view table. Now you can see here, FAA underscore ANEA. It select view table. It will select the data from ANEA. Only this particular, okay, these are the key fields which I'm going to be taking. Only these are going to be called as key fields. Only these particular fields are going to be retrieved from the compatibility view. But apart from this, if I want to read the data for all the tables from the original table, no, because you're giving only compatibility view only for this particular fields only. Only these 5 to 6 fields are available. You're going to be giving the fields. But these fields are not going to be enough. I want to read the data from the original table. So if you want to read the data from the original table, then what I'm going to give, I'll give the complete access to this table, ANEA table. So you can go to this particular table. I'm giving the new compatibility view table. So this is the new original table. You go to this table and click on display. And if I go into the DDL source, if I double click on it, I'm not going to give the fields. I'm going to give the access to all the fields which are available in the ANEA from today. So what are those fields? These are the fields. If you go and see here, these are the fields. Now you can go into the original table and this is the original table and you can read all the fields, not only 1 to 5 tables, whatever the fields which are available in the ANEA table, all the fields can be read here.
Okay, so wow, see, once we go to S4 HANA, right?
Yeah.
The data is supposed to be written only to, let's say, the actuals data, which was previously, let's say the actuals were in one of these tables, right? The ANEA table, right?
Exactly.
So that data is now written in ACDOCA. Is it going to be written both in ACDOCA as well as in ANEA after conversion?
Both. That is what I'm telling. It is going to be written in the both the table. Then why the compatibility? If I cannot give the access to the compatibility view table, then
I thought those tables were replaced with the ACDOCA table.
Mahesh, you are breaking up a lot.
means
No, it's fine for us.
hello.
Yeah, Mahesh.
Yeah, Mahesh,
See.
I was there because you are breaking up a lot. Now it's better.
No,
okay.
we are good.
Okay. See, sir, one thing I can tell you now. Okay, see here. One thing. Okay, so now if I go into the see here, now earlier I'm using the ANEK table. Okay, ANEP table. Okay, for example, ANEA. Okay, actual table. Now all the actuals are going to be stored in this particular table. I developed a one report. I developed a one report earlier. I'm talking now, not before SAP S1. Okay, this is the report. This is the report. Okay, asset balance report. I developed this report based on this particular table. Now, after you convert the system to SAP ECC to SAP S4, now what I'm going to telling here, this particular table is converted to compatible FAAB underscore ANEA. This is the compatibility view table I'm going to be giving to you. Now, earlier the data is available. You have developed the report based on this particular report. Now this table is no more available. Okay, I can put it in a green color now. Okay, I will put it in a something like orange color. Okay, this table is no more available in SAP S4HANA. But what happens? Whatever the report I have developed earlier, this report has been developed based on this original table of ANEA. Now this report will not work in SAP S4HANA. No, I'm not telling this report will not work in SAP S4HANA. The report is going to work, but what I'm going to give, the content of this particular ANEA, whatever the data which is available in here, I'm going to give the data through the compatibility view table. Only you can read the data. Only you can read the data. So whichever the report you want to access, the report, what it will do, it will access the data from the FAB underscore ANEA table. This is the compatibility view table. Now
Understood.
some fields are there which is not fetching for the report purpose. Now I want to modify this program. Now I want to modify this program, and what I want to do here, I want to add this original table. Why? Because whatever the fields which are not fetching, I want to bring the data from this original table. So what I will do, so you can also go to the original table. You can also read the data from this original table through this particular FAB underscore ANEA ORI, and you can access this particular data apart from whatever the fields which are not available in this particular view table. You can read the data from this original table from today onwards. Now, whatever the data which I'm going to be storing from today onwards, whichever the data I'm going to be storing from today onwards, after you convert the SAP, now I have designed the new data structure. I have designed the new data structure. That is nothing but now instead of ANEA, now the data is going to be stored in ACDOCA table, ECDOCA table. Very, very important. Now the data is going to be storing in ECDOCA table. So now what I'm going to do here, I will enhance this report after I bring down this report. So wherever the actuals are going to be retrieved, I'll modify this program based on the ECDOCA table. I'll modify this program from the ECDOCA table so that from today onwards, from this January period onwards, I will retrieve the data from the ECDOCA table, and the previous year data will be retrieved from this particular two tables. Clear?
Yeah, got it. So basically, after modification, after converting to S4HANA, until it was not converted, it can access through the compatibility views. But if you want still get the original data, you go to the ORI.
Exactly.
But after you complete to convert to S4HANA, and now if you let's say you run a depreciation run, now that data for that particular period is going to store in ECDOCA and not in ANEA.
Yes, sir.
At that point of time, you have to modify that report, right?
You can modify, or you have the CDS views also. You can develop as many as CDS views. Instead of modifying the report, you can develop your new report based on the CDS views using the compatibility view tables also, sir.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
You can develop as many as reports.